So hello and welcome to another episode of TopTenz. I'm your host Karl Smallwood, and today we're talking about 10 outrageous theft stats you never consider possible. And this video is based on an original article by Ian Forte, or Forte, there's no pronunciation guide there. Apologies if I got it wrong, but you'll find links to their socials if they were provided to us below. Without further ado, the intro. Let's rock. So in 2019, US law enforcement arrested over 800,000 people for larceny and theft. This is separate from burglary, so it's safe to say that theft is a major crime in the US, and it's a crime with the third highest arrest rate after DUI and drug-related crimes. Knowing all that will help give this list a little more context. There are some staggering theft statistics in the world at large. For example, consider that number 10. Millions of pets are stolen every single year. Some things are more desirable to thieves than others, or at least it seems like they should be, right? Cash has to be the most tempting item for any thief. Then you have some things like cars, electronics, sneakers, drugs, and so much more. It turns out that pets are pretty high on the list as well, and people absolutely steal your pupper from you. It's hard to put precise numbers on pet theft, since it's also possible a pet ran away, got lost, and then someone adopted it thinking it was a stray, or maybe the animal wandered off and came back and the owners thought it was stolen, but then it returned. So the stats are, quite fittingly, quite fuzzy. But in 2017, around 360,000 residents in the UK were convinced someone had stolen their cat. Of those, 55% got their cat back. And I can speak to this. There is a cat in Sheffield, the city in which I'm based, known as Garfield. And Garfield, every day, goes and sits on this one patch of grass near some tram tracks, like a way away from my house. The owners of Garfield have put a sign up on a tree where Garfield likes to spend his time, letting people know that, hello, this is Garfield. He is not a stray, he is owned, he just likes hanging out here. And people keep bringing Garfield food. I once walked past and people had given Garfield like a box of hot cross buns. I don't know why they thought the cat would want hot cross buns, but they gave the cat hot cross buns. So I can 100% believe that a lot of these cases are just the cat wandered off and just got lost. Anyway, in America, the numbers can be, again, quite fittingly, very fuzzy. The Humane Society merges stats for stolen and lost pets together. Their stats say about 10 million pets are lost and or stolen every year. The American Kennel Club has more refined numbers and estimates, saying that 2 million dogs were stolen from their owners in 2020 alone. That number, quite depressingly predictably, rose in the subsequent years and was blamed on the rise in demand for dogs during the pandemic. You've got to be a right penis to steal someone's dog. And I guess since you're here, you do quite enjoy facts, so here's a bonus one for you. Adolf Hitler, yes, that Adolf Hitler, would note in like an interview or like a diary entry somewhere that one of the most harrowing moments of his life is when someone stole his dog. So there's some guy out there who stole Hitler's dog, and you know what? That's the only person who stole a dog will give the title of legend to, because it pissed off and upset Hitler. Anyway, number 9. 1 million parking cones are stolen every single year. Parking cones are a ubiquitous part of the driving experience. We see those orange cones around the side of the road constantly during construction, around work sites and accidents. Most of us probably don't think twice about them, but someone sure does. And 1 million traffic cones are stolen per year in America. I'm going to guess my students, because as a student, I did steal a traffic cone. I think every student has got is it a rite of passage in America for students to steal traffic cones, like we sure did? Anyway, if you're struggling to figure out why anyone would steal a traffic cone, you'll be equally surprised to learn that many towns have had to deal with this for years. It got so bad in Coventry, Connecticut, that local authorities started begging thieves to bring them back. The town would set them out after storms warned residents of downed trees and power lines, and the next day, almost all of them would be gone. In the UK, police have sometimes resorted to amnesty days where people who have taken cones can return them with no questions asked, hoping to recoup losses. The cones can cost anywhere from $20 a piece, and the taxpayer usually foots the bill. And again, little bonus fact, you're tuning into this, you like your facts. It's Edinburgh, Scotland. There's a long-standing tradition to put a traffic cone on the head of the Duke of Wellington statue there. I think it's the Duke of Wellington, I'll double check. It's like, this is Duke of Wellington cone. Yes, there it is, yes. I love the UK sometimes, but only sparingly. Number 8. 10% of employees admit to stealing toilet paper from work. Have you ever stolen from work? If you said no, you're in the minority. According to the US Chamber of Commerce, 75% of employees have stolen something from their work. But what does that mean? Are they stealing cash from the till, fries from the fryer, computers from the office? Well, It's tough to break this down. Aside from things of great value, small things are just as likely to be targeted, maybe more so because you might figure no one would miss something as insignificant as toilet paper. In one survey, for example, 61% of office workers admitted to stealing from work, and 1 in 10 of them was stealing toilet paper. So that includes me. I used to steal toilet paper from my old job, and admittedly, it's because I was a student and I worked in like a restaurant. Why would I not just take their big bog roll, the really big ones? I just got like one big bog roll per week and we were done. It's great. But it's not just office workers. A hotel cleaner was caught with a garbage bag full of 66 toilet paper rolls he stole from his job in 2020. He claimed to be donating them to a friend who was out of work and apparently on the toilet all the time. In some contexts, stealing toilet paper makes a little more sense. Recall the early days of the pandemic when people were hoarding toilet paper and there were even fights over it in stores. In 2020, for example, police recovered a truckload with 18,000 pounds of stolen toilet paper. And I'm unsure if that's like 18,000 pounds, like the value, as in like, you know, British pounds, or weight, and I don't know which one would be more. Let us know in the comments if you can do the math on that one. Number 7, thieves once stole $18 million worth of maple syrup. 1 quart of organic Vermont maple syrup costs about $22 from Walmart. That's a good amount of syrup too. It should last a while depending on your penchant for pancakes and so forth. So keep that in mind in relation to this story about a team of thieves in Canada who stole $18 million worth of maple syrup. Between 2011 and 2012, a group of thieves worked together to make off with about 600 barrels of maple syrup from a Quebec warehouse. Officials thought nearly $30 million had been stolen at first, but a recount of missing barrels brought it down to a more conservative $18 million. After the suspects were caught, authorities reclaimed around 70% of the stolen syrup, but the rest was believed to have been sold to Americans. Over $5 million in purloined syrup found its way onto US waffles, and I am sorely disappointed in the original author for not making a sticky-fingered like joke here. It's like, you know, sticky. God, it writes itself. Well, evidently it didn't, but Number 6, up to 380,000 guns are stolen every year in America. How the hell do you steal a gun? It's a gun. In 2020, it was estimated that there were about 433.9 million guns in America. That, for anyone curious, is 1.3 guns for everyone in the country. And with that many guns around, you just know someone has to be stealing them, and they definitely are. There are up to 380,000 guns stolen from private owners every single year in America alone. The ATF's numbers show that between 2017 and 2021, over 1 million guns were stolen. They also point out that these were reported thefts and that there is no federal law requiring you to report a stolen gun. Because of course there isn't, and most states don't have one either. This means that the true number of stolen guns is likely a lot higher. Can you feel that freedom, America? Gun theft is not just a big city crime either. The town of Jonesboro, Arkansas, for example, with a population of just 80,000 people, had reported over 40 gun thefts in 2020 alone. Real reassuring to know there's lots of those like illegal, forbidden guns out there. Anyway, so that's the comment section ruined on this one already, right? So I can say what I want from this point onwards, because we know what people are going to be yelling about. Number 5, 1 in 5 Americans had their identity stolen in 2021.
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim.
By now, most of us are aware of identity theft, thanks to The Office, and that we're careful when we're sharing our sensitive information, especially online. Less well known may be how prevalent identity theft is. In the year 2021, 1 in 5 Americans were the victim of identity theft in some way, shape or form. That cost people about $56 billion in losses. Around 33% of Americans had experienced identity theft by the year 2018. In a global sense, Americans are definitely leading the pack, so you go America in this one regard, suffering identity theft at twice the global average. The research showed that a lot of this was largely because of poor habits relating to internet security. For instance, 44% of people who took part in the survey that produced these results didn't have a password-protected Wi-Fi at home. Definitely password protect your Wi-Fi. In fact, password protect your everything. 2-factor authentication, get it all done. It's always a good idea. Another alarming statistic is that in 2016, 11% of victims of identity theft didn't want to file a police report, likely out of embarrassment. As these types of crimes have become more and more common, it's a reasonable assumption that there's also a higher numbers than being reported for the same reason.
Millions of families suffer every year.
Number 4, PORCH thieves steal around 260 million packages per year. If you spend a lot of time online, you've no doubt heard of PORCH thieves, sometimes known as PORCH pirates because it sounds cooler. Videos of these thieves taken from Ring cameras and other home security devices have been around for years. These are thieves who see a package left on someone's porch, something from Amazon or some other kind of package delivery service, and will simply walk up and steal the box it came in before the rightful owner gets home. And again, hold your hands up if this has happened to you, because this happened to me my first day in my new apartment. I ordered a Roomba because screw cleaning up for myself. And it was outside my door for an hour before it got stolen. So I hope the person who stole that enjoyed their free Roomba, because I sure didn't. Anyway, the reason there are so many videos of this kind of crime is because there's just so much of this kind of crime. In 2021 alone, it was estimated that 260 million packages were taken off of porches. In 2016, that worked out to 1.7 million packages being pinched from porches every single day. For anyone curious, the security firm Safewise conducted a survey and determined that San Francisco was the worst city in America for porch pirates. Over 75% of Americans have experienced porch theft, and losses are believed to be upwards of $19 billion, with average packages valued between $50 and $100 respectively. Number 3. Millions of bicycles are stolen every single year. In 2021, about 51 million Americans rode bikes. It's even more popular in Europe, where you can find an enormous population of cycling enthusiasts in major cities. It's estimated that around 90% of people in the Netherlands, for example, regularly cycle. As with everything that's popular, there are thieves waiting in the wings to ruin it for everybody. Again, I've personally witnessed this. I've been to Amsterdam, where cycling is very, very popular, and you cannot move near rivers for the amount of bikes that have been stolen and thrown in. It is estimated that around 4 million bicycles are stolen every year in Europe, many of them unreported. In the US, that number is around 2 million. Right, the underreporting of bike theft as a crime makes it really hard to get concrete numbers on exactly how many are stolen. With at least one registry of services estimating that only 1 in 5 thefts is ever reported, meaning the number could be 5 times that, to the tune of 10 million bikes every single year. Number 2, $75 million in used cooking oil is stolen every single year. There's an old saying that goes, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and that's very true in the world of oil. Used cooking oil from restaurants was once considered nothing but a trash byproduct from making french fries and chicken. Now, it's a huge business, as we all know if we watched that one Simpsons episode. Old cooking oil, which restaurants sometimes store outside in sealed barrels until it can be picked up, can be used for many purposes if it's cleaned and recycled. But the biggest one is biodiesel. It's just old oil and not that much different from the oil that we already refine into gasoline. While gas prices have continued to rise over the years, biodiesel is even more expensive. In April 2023, a gallon of gasoline in America averaged about $3.69, but the most expensive kind of biodiesel averaged around $4.95 per gallon. If it can be made from buckets of trash behind fast food restaurants, you can see why some people might want to steal it, and steal it, they do. America produces around 2.5 billion gallons of used cooking oil every single year. You know, you guys love your french fries. Around $75 million of which is stolen in the same time period. The whole industry was set up to be very tempting to thieves. Restaurants can't legally just throw the stuff out, it has to be taken somewhere to be processed. There are laws requiring that certain amounts of biodiesel be used every year too, so the demand continues to grow. Now, I think in the UK we have this thing that's like, maybe in America, like red diesel, which they use in like tractors and stuff, because they sell it at a, like, you know, less tax and stuff on it. And there's a thriving market, I'd say black market, but I guess it's a red market for this red diesel stuff. And you can always tell when someone has it in their car because the emissions are very noticeable. I'll just put it that way. Anyway, number 1. Dairy farmers lose up to $100 million a year in milk crate thefts. How many milk crates have you seen in places that weren't grocery stores in your lifetime? Milk crates in basements, in garages, in backyards, wherever. Those plastic cubes are used the world over for storing and organising people's junk, and of course, for shipping milk. But you'll notice that most of those crates don't have milk in them, but they're supposed to. They were never purchased, they were stolen, and the expense is part of the reason why you pay as much as you do for milk. And we have something similar in the UK, where every household in the UK, for some reason, has a mug from the shop Sports Direct. No one knows where you get this mug. I've never seen one for sale, but every household I've been in has one. Dairy farmers pay for those crates, and when they get stolen, they have to pay for more. And it's estimated that every year, those same dairy farmers lose up to about $100 million from milk crate theft alone. A number which is quite hard to comprehend when we're talking about milk crates. The number of crates works out to between 20 and 25 million. Just try and imagine what people need 25 million milk crates for if they're not in the dairy industry. And this admittedly bizarre issue did have a bit of light shone on it back in 2021 when the milk crate challenge became a thing on TikTok and people were sharing videos of themselves stacking precarious milk crate structures and trying to climb them. I remember that one. It's not one of TikTok's finest moments, but it did result in several hilarious videos of people eating what I would describe and characterize as a large amount of.
Ouch!
Each crate costs about $4, and they only end up at the grocery store to ship the milk. Stores are meant to return them so they can be reused, but obviously that doesn't happen nearly as often as it should. So thank you for tuning into this episode of Top Tens. As noted at the start, this video is based on an original article by Ian Forty, and their socials will be linked below if they provided them to us. I've been your host, Karl Smallwood. I also host videos for the sister sites, the Top Tens, Biographics and Geographics, as well as my own channel, FactFiend, and another channel I host with a friend called Wiki Weekends. You can presumably also find them linked below. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment on it if you've got anything to say, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, have the day you deserve.